Welcome to this show. This right here is the new segment that we doing on this humble Guinness, wave that we have going on. This right here is it disrespectful? So I'm gonna give people the rundown because this is the first show, so I want people to understand what it is that we're doing. There's a lot of disrespect out here in the world, things going on, all the kind of other stuff, and you can pretty much find some disrespect in everything. Everybody knows that typically when they talk to me, I'm a big person about communication, about us walking these paths and getting the understanding of how we go about things. So whether it's disrespectful or not disrespectful, considerably, I want to talk about it. I want to understand why we do what we do, when we do what we do, how we do what we do. I just want to walk it through it. Like I say on the other show, adversity, diversity, all we can do is simply live it through and walk the path. It is what it is. So, for the first show, my girl Izzi decided to rock with me on this one. Izzi, what's going on?
Nothing, I'm just out here living the dream, excited to be on.
It's not the American dream, is it? Because the American dream is like cocaine, a lot of like white women.
No, it's almost like a lucid dream.
Oh, okay. Because the American dream is a little different. So, Izzi, today we're gonna talk about this disrespectful, is it disrespectful, and all this other good stuff. We're gonna talk about ghosting. Ghosting. I think I probably just learned what this term meant probably like maybe about 7 months ago, something like that.
Oh, wow.
I didn't know what that meant. Well, I didn't know that was what they called it. Like, like you know how actions, but then you were like, dang, I didn't know that you people call this action this. So I was like, ghosting. What the hell is a ghost? I know what a ghost is, but I didn't know the action. So I was like, dang, okay. So when somebody ghosts you, they're doing what? So I was like, when I heard it, I was like, dang, that sounds disrespectful as hell. But then I would meet a lot of people, like my little brother. He told me it's not disrespectful at all. So I was like, well, wow, that's a good conversation to have. Is it disrespectful? Is it not disrespectful? So I know you know what ghosting is. I want to ask you, do you think this concept of ghosting is disrespectful?
It's disrespectful to the party that's being ghosted. If you're doing the ghosting, then obviously not, you're doing it for a reason. Maybe you just don't want to talk to the person anymore. Maybe they struck a nerve, I don't know, and you don't really feel like explaining yourself to that person. So in turns, you just go Casper on them. So honestly, it is kind of disrespectful. It is kind of disrespectful, no matter what angle you look at it as. But I can understand why people would ghost, because not a lot of people like to explain themselves and why they do what they do. And that's why it's disrespectful, because there's no explanation of why you got ghosted.
So when somebody ghosts someone, because I agree with you, it's definitely disrespectful to the person who's being ghosted on. And one of the things that I think, I don't know, maybe it's like a control thing or whatever may have you. Some people may say. But when I hear ghosting, because I'm thinking about it from the side of the victim. We're going to call the ghostee the victim. So when you're coming from the side of the victim, that hurts. Say you're really interested in a person and then they just vanish. That's horrible. Izzi, come on. Izzi, that's horrible.
It's the name of the game,
So how dangerous do you think this is? Or do you think it's not dangerous because you vanished on them and they probably can't find the ghost?
I guess I mean, honestly, like the ghostie is gonna be the one who's like the most dangerous potentially, but I don't even think really like they kind of like understood that they're being ghosted at that point. So at that point, I think their feelings and emotions are hurt. But like I guess on another point, like maybe like I don't. This is not really a common thing, but maybe like they get like they're aggressive and they're like, what the fuck, like why did you ghost me, like and they, I don't know, try to destroy you to like regain, like I guess regain something, regain the pieces that they lost from like giving you energy that wasn't reciprocated. I don't really know, that's not too common, but I don't think it's I don't really think there's like too much danger. It's just like it's just like an understood like game that people do.
So how much time would have to go by before someone can, I guess, considerably accept the ghosting? You like say for instance, right? If I'm trying to get in contact with you,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, hey, what's up? It says seen, so I know you saw it, but you never respond back. Okay, and then we say like, I let an hour go by, and then I hit you again, be like, hey man, what's going on? And then it says seen again, which means I said I know you saw it. And then more time go by, maybe 30 minutes this time. And then now I send a text message, are you okay? And it says seen, which means I know you saw it again. Like, is there a time frame for a person? Because you said it's like the person is kind of understood. So, like, at what point would a person be like, you know what? I've been ghosted. How many messages? How much time got to pass by? Because what if the
I
person is just busy?
I think it's hard to say, and it depends on the relationship that you guys have. So if it's like I guess like we'll use like like an example of like a friend. So
Mm-hmm.
if like you're texting a friend and you're just trying to find out some information, and you're getting ghosted, I think it's like first of all, maybe like for you to officially call it ghosting, maybe I want to say like three messages, because sometimes like they're you like you might be right, like they might be busy, or like I'm not like the best texter, honestly. Like I'm like better if you like call me, and it didn't used to always be that way. I don't know when that I transitioned to
Nah,
like
that's
a phone
that's
head.
good. That's good and old fashioned.
Like but if you want to contact me and get like an indefinite answer, I always pick up my phone. So like if you call me, you're gonna get an immediate answer. If you text me, you're probably gonna get ghosted, just because like I don't know. First of all, I get like a lot of spam text messages too. So like sometimes I'm just like whatever with text messages these days. But yeah, like I don't know, like sometimes like for me, like if you like try contacting me multiple times, I probably did see it. So if I would say like minimum of like three messages is probably like saying like, okay, I'm ghosting you. And I think people do ghost people just because like silence speaks louder than words. So
Mhm.
yeah.
I agree with that because I think I share that same sentiment. Like I ain't gonna lie, I always tell people I'll be like, if you text me, like I never looked at like a text message as something that you had to respond to right away. Like I always
Right.
thought like a text message is like a more for like informative purposes. Like, hey, don't forget we got to meet up for such and such later. Like,
Right.
okay, that's a reminder. I don't like, so I used to always say that too. Like, if you text me, I don't really feel an urge to have to reply to you. Like, I'm like, yo, if it's that important, why wouldn't you just call me? So I kind of share that thought too. So what do you think about though? Because being that if we both share that outlook, what about people who try to like have arguments through text messages? Ain't that kind of weird?
I used to argue through text back in the day. But now I think, as I grow older, I think it's a little weird. I think
What,
it's. I think it's very.
what kind of argument are you having through a text message?
Oh,
Don't it feel like you kind of talking to yourself a little bit though?
of course. Like, it's just like, okay, so like, now that I have like transitioned out of the argument phase of text message, I still like, message a lot of people who still like to like, use those like Twitter fingers and like really like have like you let me have it. But it's like I'll just be like, okay, or thanks for sharing, or like, and it'll really like rile their feathers. It's almost as equivalent as ghosting them. It's just because like I don't feel like, and another thing, like over text, it's like that's not, it's like, what are we doing here truly?
Is the you know how people I guess this means I'm waiting. Like they'll be like dot 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 dot. Is that kind of like pleading or begging?
Like, what do you mean?
Like you know how like people like somebody will say something to you, like they might like in the text message they might be like, "Hey, so we still on for dinner tonight," and then they'll come like they'll hit send the message, and then like the person won't respond, and then all of a sudden they'll send probably like 5 dots, kind of like I'm waiting, like
Right.
you gonna answer? Like is that almost like pleading or begging?
I don't think I don't think so. I just feel like they're just using it's almost like using like LOL, or just like, just kind of like minimizing like, how lengthy like words can potentially be. I mean, like and it's just like, minimizing repetition, because you saw the first message. I'm just like, adding in the dots so you get alerted that I texted you, and just in case you missed the alert for the first time.
So what are the dots really saying then?
It's like I think it's foreshadowing to the original message.
So like I said earlier, though, I guess so. It's basically like saying I'm waiting, kind of because you're kind of trying to rush a response.
I don't think
right?
they're begging though. I don't think so.
Well, let's say pleading.
Pleading. I think they want to know what to do with their time, which everybody has the right to.
Yeah, like they're pleading for a response, like at
But
least
like because you're leaving them in limbo. If you didn't leave them in limbo, they wouldn't be pleading.
See, okay, so we agree then. That's what I was getting at. Like it's kind of like a play. Like can you please respond to me because I'm trying to figure out something for later.
Okay, yes. If you want to put it in those types of contexts, I guess they're pleading, but I mean, it's like a necessary plea to know what they're doing with their time. So, you know what? I'm for that person who's asking what to do with their time, if that's the case.
Can you ghost someone respectfully?
No. I mean, I think the only way you can ghost someone respectfully is you guys just do it at once, equally.
What do you mean? Oh, some of you like if both people
both just like are just done with each other and just ghost. I think that's the only respectful way you can do it. because like any other way it's like, one person has like, a little bit more like leeway than the other one. So I don't know. Like that's the only way. If you do it at once simultaneously at the same time, then that's the only way that like I feel like it can be done in a respectful way. It's almost like the whole thing is just eradicated.
I just think this whole ghosting thing I think it's just rude. It's very cruel.
I mean, yeah, but like, the world's
like I can't. What I don't remember which one of my shows it was, and I remember me and my brother Nate was going back and forth on this exact topic because he was saying, like he'll just ghost. There's nothing wrong with just the ghosting and all stuff like that. And I'm like, I don't think like even it don't even have to be like moving upon a relationship. I'm thinking like even as far as like say if it's a friendship and we hang out, because this is the the scenario I painted, that if we talk to each other all the time and then all of a sudden you just disappear, that's pretty fucked up. Because now I'm worried about you. I'm not thinking this person just don't want to talk to me. Like, I think most people, when they think ghosting, I think, because I remember like how you said like kind of like a game, that some people be like, take the hint, I didn't respond to you, mean I don't want to talk to you. But that's not always the case though. Some people be like, yo, man, what if something happened to you? So now I'm worried. Like, because I'm saying if we talk all the time, and then all of a sudden I'm hitting you up, I'm calling you, I'm texting you, you're not responding. I'm not thinking this person is ghosting me. I'm thinking, oh shit, I hope ain't nothing wrong. Like that's pretty traumatizing, don't you think?
I don't think. I mean, I think the more modern version of ghosting, I don't think like we're thinking like, oh my god, something happened to them. I just think it's more so selves like, oh, they're mad at me. Like, or they are not fucking with me right now. I don't think it's like more so, at least the more modern. I'm not talking about like, ghosting in the past, but in the more modern form of it, it's more so like they don't want to explain why they're not like really talking to me and like why they're disagreeing with me and why we're having like this like, you know, uh confrontational non-confrontation. So in turn they just like ghost me, and I think that's like what like ghosting really is. They just don't want to have to explain their feelings to people, so they just the biggest explanation is I'm not, just know that I'm not talking to you anymore for whatever reason. And I think the more cruel thing of it is because you don't have explanation as to why. What did you do wrong in the situation? So maybe you won't repeat the circumstances with other people. I think that's the more cruel thing about ghosting, if anything. But I think
But
like
then you don't even know, you really don't even know if you did anything wrong. Because if somebody
yeah,
ghosted you, they're
that's
not
true.
telling you
That's true
nothing.
too.
So you
Yeah,
can't even assume you did something wrong. You really just don't know.
that's true too.
See, that's horrible. That is crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me though.
Yeah.
Like
You know,
that's crazy that people would even think it's a game. Like I guess I'm old fashioned. I might
it's
just be
like,
old
don't
fashioned.
get me wrong, like I'm not like the biggest fan of ghosting, because like I like, unless it depends, like if like we're like, if we're not like really like well established, then it's like, ghosting should be like kind of like a little bit more normalized, because like I don't have to explain myself to you, because like you don't even know me like that, and we were getting to get know each other until like we weren't. But if that's like a friend, or like someone that you're like really close to, and you decide to ghost them for whatever reason, I think that's like a little bit more cruel, because I think they deserve more than that, because like it kind of speaks to your character too, that you kind of like easily dispose people, and that you don't even give them a reason for why you're disposing them, so they can correct the situation if like they did something actually wrong.
Yeah, see, I kept saying to Nate, I'm like, I kept telling him, I think that it's definitely a lack of respect. Like,
Yeah.
if you ever go somebody, that means you have to have a lack of respect for them. Like, I can't see it no other way than that. Cause to not, cause and this probably might just be me. I believe that the only thing we owe people on this planet is at least a conversation. Like, I just think as like respectfully, you at least owe a person a conversation. If you disagree or whatever may happen, at least a conversation. I understand some people might not want to talk, or they might be like, nah, fuck it, I don't want to have a conversation. But I think you at least owe people a conversation. I think that's that to me, it just seems very disrespectful. Like there's no respect there. If you don't even want to like acknowledge it, like that's crazy. I don't know, man. That's weird.
I don't know though, like I think like you're asking for respect for people who originally probably aren't the most respectful, like just look at like how society is, and how they treat like certain people. I don't think that like there was really like too much. It's like kind of like a survival of the fittest aspect. Even if you want to think about it, like if you were to like apply for like a job and go on an interview and they'll be like, oh, we'll call you back, and they don't call you back, isn't that a form of ghosting? Like, did I get the job? Did I not? So it's like it's fair
Oh
to
yeah,
assume you
yeah,
didn't,
that's definitely what that is.
you know? It's fair to assume that you didn't, but it's like it would have been nice if you told me like, here's why and all that. It would be nice. It would be respectful. It would be
Yeah,
all
yeah.
of the above. But, unfortunately, we live in a very unfair world. So people just operate on their own self-preservation and their own, I guess their own righteousness, and it's like their world, so they're not really thinking about others when they're deciding to ghost and how it's going to make them feel. And I feel like if people were operating like on that level, then the world would be very, very different.
Yeah, I think that if when you do that, like I think it's very that listen, that can raise some insecurities in a person.
Of course. What? Of course.
That can make a person insecure
It
as
could trigger someone
hell.
easily. Yeah, hell yeah.
That is crazy. Cause
Hmm.
even like with the job, like with the job analogy, it's like, yeah, they could have. They
They
could have
really
just,
could have. They really could have.
but dang, I don't know. Have you ever been ghosted?
Yes.
Was it like a friendship or like a coupleship type of ghost?
Um, more so friends. Um, yeah, more so friends.
How did it make you
Plural.
feel?
Um, at first I was very distraught. Now I'm just like, whatever. Life goes on.
Oh man. So
You
you felt
know?
distraught first and then you just chalked it up to whatever. So if somebody ghosts you, is there a time period before they can come back?
I mean, if you
Because some people
decide
take
to
it
come back,
personal.
you're gonna have to explain. You're gonna have to explain
Damn.
why. Because like I'm very like I kind of just like say what is on my mind, especially even if I'm not really comfortable with you, I kind of just like say what's on my mind, especially if I feel like I was offended or for like no reason. I'm gonna say what's on my mind. Like for instance, like when we were talking to you, when me and Nathan were talking to you about like ghosting each other and things like that, like there was one time where he kind of just like disappeared, and then he just called me like talking about like, oh hey Izzy, like what's up, what's poppin', I'm gonna pull up to your crib. And I'm just thinking like, what? I was like, okay, like I didn't say, I was like, okay. And then like he pulled up, and then I like got in his car and we were just like kind of chilling, like vibing a little bit. I turned on my music and I was like, so what the fuck is good? Like, how are you just gonna like pull up to like my house and like on some like weird shit? Like, where have you been, my dude? Like, where have you been? Like, I don't permit this. Like, this is not what I permit. You just don't
Yeah.
bounce in and out of my life. Like, you can do that with your other friends, but with me, like, nah, you can't dance in and out of my life. That's not cool. That's not okay. Like, that's not like real. Like, that's not like that's like emotional abuse. Like in a
Yes.
way, like you can't do
Yes.
that. It is. You're abusing me.
Yes.
You're abusing me. That's not
That's like
cool.
torture. Because if a person really cares for you, that's torture.
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
torture. You like that's torturing a person.
Straight up. And like and the thing is it's torture because they know in the back of their head that they know it's not cool. They're just kind of expecting you, they're just hoping you don't say anything about it. So you can just sweep it under the rug because they're just like, I don't know, I think it's like they're just like, I think sometimes they expect like, their presence to be like this thing where it's like so awe-stricken that you don't even want to like risk saying anything to like make you ghost again. So it's like, nah, but I'm gonna say my piece though. Like, you just can't come in my life talking about like, hey, what's up?
So all day, every day said, is it wrong to ghost if a person shuts down a lot?
Um, Still, yes, because they might be going through something that's causing them to do that has nothing to do with you. I mean, if you check in and they're like, I'm fine, I just need some time, then it's like, okay, at that point you done your due diligence.
So what he said would kind of be like how Nate was explaining it. Because remember, Nate kept saying, this is something that I do. I do this all the time. So if you choose to shut down and distance yourself a lot, it's still ghosting, but it's still just as disrespectful. Like, just because you, like, to me, see, when I hear stuff like that, that's like saying, if we know a person and what he do is slap people in the face, we know he known for that. He'll walk out here, slap the hell out of him. Now, I can understand, okay, you slap people in their face, but that does not mean if you come over and you slap me, I'm gonna just say, oh, that's just what he do. No, I'm still gonna have a problem with it. So the exact same thing. Just because I know you shut down a lot, I'm not gonna now still be cool with the fact that you're a habitual ghoster. Oh, that's the term. That you're a habitual ghoster.
Yes, habitual ghoster.
That's not gonna excuse you from this ghosting. That's still fucked up.
It is.
You're a
It is.
habitual ghoster.
It is. It's not right. And I think people who ghost has been ghosted in the past by someone they really cared about dearly. So this is why they feel like kind of like numb to ghosting, and they know like the since they've experienced it for themselves, they know the effects that it can have. So
that makes it worse.
It makes it worse, but I think like people do it to like, it's almost like if it's like, it could be like a control aspect, and it could be like, like a form of to like form like, I'm trying to think of like, it's like almost like a toxic attachment. It's like it's almost like, I'm attached to you not because I actually love or respect you. I'm attached to you because I like you somewhat, and I don't want you to disappear because like, you've just like, you're in and out of my life. So I'm only like, I'm only accepting you now because it's like, there's like an essence of that person that it's like, I don't really know, but like I just feel like there's some type of a toxic attachment like that's like kind of formulated with people who habitually ghost.
So what would be something that would make you ghost someone, you personally?
Energy change. Like I would ghost someone if like someone was just like, I don't know. They acted like, it's more so friends. Like I do this with more so like friends. Relationships I'm a little bit different in. But like with friends, like I would ghost them like if I just feel like, they were they're disrespecting me, but they weren't telling me what the problem was. Like it's like an elephant in the room type of situation, and I'm like, okay, this person is clearly has an issue with me because of how she's talking. She changed her energy, she's different, or he's different, whatever, and they don't want to actually be an adult and like say, hey, this is what you did wrong, like like I feel a type of way about that, the mature thing to do, right? Instead they just like be like, they'll just kind of like be disrespectful and be like, like uncalled for, but like not actually explain why. Even if I was to do something wrong, like you just can't like, okay, like, feel like it's fair and justified to like disrespect me back without like letting me know what's up. Like that's not, I don't know. That's just that will cause me to ghost you, truly.
So is it ghosting if say that y'all didn't just had the argument like a couple minutes ago. Say maybe I had an argument like maybe like 2 days prior, and then like randomly out the blue, the person texts you, leave me alone and do not call me no more, and that's where they ended. Is that ghosting?
No.
Okay. I was asking because I wanted to see was the ghosting more so around the explanation. So that's why I asked that. Like, do they have to explain it? Because technically, if they just tell you they don't want to communicate it. So I agree with you. I definitely agree with you. Yeah. I
Yeah.
wouldn't feel that's good.
Because you know there's an issue. Like ghosting is more so you just don't even know what's going on. Yeah. Like you're just like literally in like a twilight zone with this person.
Yeah, that being in limbo.
Yeah.
Most definitely. Oh man. So I mean, that's what this show right here was about. We gonna rally up and we're gonna talk about a lot of these moments that's going on out here. Some moments we might be in favor of, some moments we might not be in favor of, but guess what? We can find disrespect in everything. But the key is for us to talk it out and get an understanding of why people do what they do. Because it could be a trauma thing. Izzi done said several times, hurt people. So maybe they putting you through that emotional roller coaster because somebody did it to them. It's still just as equally as wrong, but people do it. So me and Izzi are definitely on the same page with this one. This ghosting thing is definitely disrespectful. So, I mean, that's all we got for that one. So catch y'all on the next go round. This is Humble Beginnings. Peace.